Now on CoastTV News.
Limited parking problem.
It can be really frustrating.
How Lewis is attempting to address the ongoing issue as we are 2 months away from the paid season.
Do More 24. The Day of Giving in Delaware ends tonight, and we have the updated totals and donations aimed at helping nonprofits.
Well, you guessed it. It's another morning we're tracking fog on the peninsula, especially at the coast. So use some caution out there this morning. It's not as dense and widespread as yesterday, but it's a gloomy Friday. But there's a nice warm up that everyone's going to like heading into the weekend.
Drone ship strike. The latest moves by the U.S. military as the war with Iran reaches 1 week.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And it is Friday, March 6, 2026. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us during our 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, Grace, it's another morning of foggy conditions, and we're going to go live now to Rehoboth Beach, get a live shot there. This is the boardwalk. We've been tracking this camera for the past 2 hours, and the thickness of that fog that you see there, that has been increasing as we continue on this morning.
It's almost impressive, Matt, how dense it has become, especially around those coastal areas. We're now going to go about 28 miles to the south. We have a look from just moments ago in Ocean City. This is the view from high above Coastal Highway, somewhere around 94th Street. And it's not as foggy there, but you can see there's some condensation fogging up the camera that's almost altering our view. Definitely a foggy start to our morning.
Yeah, let's now turn to the roads on Delmarva. We have our photographer, Tyler Ritson. He's on Cave Neck Road in Milton. Here's what we're seeing here. Not as foggy, and that's a little surprising because normally it's the back roads first that get a lot of the fog, but it looks like with Tyler with those lights on there.
It's a little hazy on the sides of the roads.
Because you experienced that coming in.
I did. I had actually messaged Elisa Weber in a drive from the Lewis area to Milton, where our station is. I was like, Elisa, I feel like a snail driving right now. And the fog did somewhat dissipate once I got to Milton. Yeah. So it really is those coastal areas that we're seeing the most condensation. But my goodness, I was driving like 20 under the speed limit. I couldn't see.
Man, and you still got here in time.
Being a safe driver today, but just a little taste of the spring weather that we're going to be seeing. And to give us more of a look on that, we're turning out to First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono for a look at today's forecast. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Grace and Matt. Yeah, we're in this cycle where we get the fog, it dissipates, it redevelops, and current visibilities across the area, not as widespread fog as what we saw yesterday. Most of it has been confined to Sussex County at the moment, but it's going to continue to fluctuate here through the morning, especially along the coast. Right now in Salisbury, 44 degrees, and temperatures are holding generally in the lower 40s at this hour. We're at 41 in Rehoboth, 43 in Milford, 44 Gumboro. Now we're beginning to see the winds shift more out of the northeast, and that's going to introduce that onshore flow that we've been talking about over the last few days. We had a batch of rain, a heavier batch of rain pushed through the northern portion of the midshore and Kent County overnight. Now we just have a few residual sprinkles and areas of drizzle across the peninsula. As we go into the afternoon, expect cloudy skies, a very moist, raw day, especially at the coast. Could see some breaks in those clouds, especially across the southwestern portion of the peninsula. We'll talk about a milder weekend ahead and a big warm up into early next week.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this hour, Do More 24 is underway, and we still have plenty of time to donate.
CoastTV News reporter Elisa Weber is in our newsroom. And Elisa, you spoke with the Selbyville Library, who participates in Do More 24, and this event helps to continue to provide resources to the community.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Yes, everyone has until 6 o'clock this evening to donate and support causes and organizations that mean the most to them. Currently, Do More 24 has raised $670,000 according to its website. And in order to find those organizations that are participating, you can check out the Do More 24 site for a full list. Do More 24 Delaware offers thousands of dollars in unrestricted funding and other cash and non-cash incentives to provide a little excitement, start some friendly competition, and help donors make their dollars go further. We spoke with the Selbyville Library, which is a nonprofit. They participated in Do More 24 for the past few years, and they say this day helps them raise money to continue its services.
Libraries are an underfunded resource in Delaware. They are really doing a lot more work because of the growth in the area, and there is just so much that we take on to assist our communities. And we are also in the midst of a literacy emergency, as our governor declared.
And again, everyone has until 6 o'clock this evening to donate to those organizations participating. There is also a leaderboard on the Do More 24 website, so you can see how much has already been donated. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Now, an 18-year-old from Rehoboth Beach was hospitalized with critical injuries after this motorcycle crash on Bay Vista Road. According to Delaware State Police, around 3:15 on Thursday afternoon, the motorcycle was driving at a high rate of speed and flipped over after a sharp turn. You can see that motorcycle ended up underneath a Chevy truck. Troopers say that Bay Vista Road was closed for about 2 hours following the incident.
New this morning, Lewis officials are set to tackle limited spots for your car in the downtown area. The parking working group is meeting later this morning, and one topic the city is researching is a residential parking permit program. Here's what they're doing. Lewis is looking at other areas with similar downtowns like Rehoboth Beach and Bethany Beach to see how their systems work. We actually spoke to Gia Coffee Company owner Ben Messino, and he says he's experiencing the parking pains.
It can be really frustrating, especially when your staff's trying to rush to work and stuff and they can't find anything. They have to park, maybe at the library. It has happened a few times because there's no closer places.
Important to note here, the working group will focus only on parking downtown, and that committee meeting is just in a few hours from now at 9 a.m.
The Sussex County Land Trust is announcing that Shell Brothers has made a $1,000 per lot donation. The donations are from its Channel Point development in Fenwick, and Sussex County Land Trust says that the money from those 70 homes will support efforts to protect farms, forests, waterways, and other open spaces in Sussex County. And for more information on the announcement, you can head to the article that's on our website now, CoastTV.com.
And we're giving you a live look at Cambridge. This is near the banks of the Choptank River, and we're nearing that time of the year that the blue crab industry ramps up. And later today in Annapolis, there is a bill that lays out consequences for fishing under certain circumstances without a license. It's getting a hearing in the General Assembly. House Bill 1304 was brought up last month, and it requires the Department of Natural Resources to suspend the commercial or recreational fishing privileges of certain people charged without having a license. That hearing is taking place in the House Environment and Transportation Committee.
The national battle over redistricting is taking center stage in Virginia today. Starting at 8:30, the Virginians will have the first chance to vote on Democratic-led redistricting. Currently, Democrats hold 6 of Virginia's 11 U.S. House seats, but the proposed map would redraw districts in a way that could ultimately give them a 10-to-1 advantage. The referendum, if passed, would empower the General Assembly to redraw districts ahead of November midterms. Leaders on Virginia's Eastern Shore say that a potential change in representation would slow progress on local priorities.
Red tape and different things in there that prevents you from doing business or makes doing business a whole lot slower. And we can't continue to run on things like that. We need to get in there, vote in the person you want to vote for, and get the business done.
While early voting takes place today, the referendum is set for April 21st.
The U.S. Central Command says American forces have struck a key Iranian naval vessel early this morning. The U.S. military reported that an Iranian drone carrier, the Iris Saeed Bagheri, was attacked and set on fire during multiple strikes. Video released by Central Command shows black and white footage of the vessel burning at sea. Iran's military has not immediately acknowledged the attack, and Tehran has provided few details about its losses so far. The ship is a converted container vessel that Iran officially unveiled in February of 2025. And we're now taking a look this morning at Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump announcing that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will no longer head the department. And this just in, the president is naming Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma as her replacement.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how the move caps off a tumultuous year in which she oversaw the president's increasingly unpopular mass deportation agenda.
Made it a cornerstone of his Make America.
This morning, Washington and the nation reacting to President Trump firing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem following a string of controversies as she led the administration's immigration crackdown.
She has completely destroyed the high ground that Republicans had I am so happy that one of the worst administrative leaders I've ever seen is gone, but the agency itself is still reckless and out of control.
The Department of Homeland Security right now operating in a shutdown, with Democrats pushing to overhaul ICE and Border Patrol. President Trump praised Noem's work sealing the border, while a White House official pointed to mounting frustrations behind the scenes, culminating in a Capitol Hill grilling this week over a $220 million border security ad campaign that featured Noem prominently.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
In a new phone interview with NBC News, President Trump said of the ad campaign, quote, "I wasn't thrilled with it. I spent less money than that to become president. I didn't know about it." Noem was also widely criticized over her handling of the deadly Minneapolis shootings by federal immigration officers and her initial comments accusing Alex Preddy of domestic terrorism, despite video contradicting that. President Trump tapping Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin as the new DHS head.
There's an opportunity to build off successes, and there's also opportunities to build off things that maybe didn't go quite as planned. So.
Mullin will need Senate confirmation and is promising to reach across the aisle. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New overnight, the Delaware Division of Motor Vehicles is warning people about a text scam claiming to have toll debts. The agency says that it will never text you requesting you to click a link to make a payment, and people can report their suspicious text messages to the Federal Trade Commission as well as the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center.
Single lane traffic coming to Tidal Health in Salisbury. The healthcare organization says starting March 16th, part of the West Vine Street is getting reduced to one lane. It's the area located between Waverly Drive and Patterson Road, and officials say the change is related to construction for its emergency department expansion project.
Now we're just getting started here on this hour of CoastTV News Today.
Coming up, Maryland minimum wage. How much of an increase is part of a new proposal?
Also, new digital health tool, the goal of a new Delaware system focused on mental health.
And Foundation honors fallen state trooper. How the Ty Snook Foundation says it will support families. Stay with us on CoastTV News Today.
Well, we made it to Friday, Delmarva. That certainly feels good. I wish I had better weather to report as far as the forecast goes today. As we take a live look into Milford, you see the wet parking lot there and the roads. It's a damp and muggy start across the area. 42 right now in Milford, and you can see just some fog in and across Sussex County. So use some caution, especially on those back roads. The fog not all that widespread this morning. We had some rain overnight. Just a few light residual showers now exist over the coast, but most of this is winding down and pushing offshore. We're at 41 in Lewis, 44 Salisbury, and we're going to see temperatures really struggle to get out of the 40s, especially at the beaches with a lot of cloud cover and that east wind keeping us locked into the clouds. Could see some breaks in those clouds, especially across the eastern shore, but many of us are going to struggle to get out of the 40s and 50s today. We'll be back to near 70 over the weekend. I'll have details on that here in a little bit.
Thank you, Chris. The Wilmington DMV is reopening, but that's with an appointment system. This is happening on Tuesday, March 10th at 8 a.m. The reopening follows a months-long closure after Delaware State Police Corporal Matthew Ty Snook was shot and killed at the DMV before Christmas. Officials say that the appointment-only system will remain in place for at least 1 month.
And important to note, there is a new nonprofit that's being formed to honor fallen state trooper Ty Snook and to support families facing similar losses. The Ty Snook Foundation is being created to help the spouses and children of fallen officers across the country build connections, share experiences, and find long-term support.
Dagsboro is seeking volunteers for its newly formed Business Development Committee. Dagsboro says that the goal of the committee is to attract new business while still preserving the town's small-town charm. And those interested in being a part of the committee can contact Mayor Jason Russell.
Stepping out the door to some murky, damp conditions this morning, tracking a little fog across parts of the peninsula. Not much in the way of sunshine today, but we'll rebound nicely over the weekend, and then it gets even better into early next week. I'll break it all down, my full forecast next.
Time is 5:18, and you are looking live at Salisbury University. There's a bit of a fog cover there. I'm Matt. On the right side of your screen is First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono, and
Here we are, Chris, on a damp Friday morning, but you are promising a warmer weekend.
Yeah, we're going to improve over the weekend. We rallied yesterday a little in the afternoon. We got to 70 in Salisbury, but the clouds are going to hold pretty thick, especially along the beaches this afternoon. Right now we're at 40 in Rehoboth. The fog, not all that bad this morning. It's kind of been touch and go with the most dense fog we're seeing about 3/4 of a mile there through Georgetown. So it's a lot of those back roads throughout Sussex County seeing some fog. But we do have dense marine fog advisories up for the Delaware coast through about 10 this morning. Further to the south, Ocean City through Chincoteague, that runs through 7 o'clock this morning. We're at 42 Long Neck, 44 in Redden, 45 in Laurel. We're beginning to see those winds shift more out of the northeast and more of that east wind. Now, we had a batch of rain late last night. We actually had a few lightning strikes near Baltimore. That pushed through Philly, grazed us with a little light rain overnight. Now we're just seeing a few residual areas of drizzle at the coast. But for the most part, we're going to be dry today from a rain standpoint. As this stalled out front pushes a little bit further to the south, we're seeing more of that onshore flow today. So the clouds are going to outweigh the sun today. 40s at the coast, 50s inland, milder weekend ahead, and it gets even warmer into next week. So you see, maybe get some breaks in those clouds, western portions of the county, southwestern areas of the peninsula, but we're pretty much socked in the cloud cover with that east wind, and we start the day on Saturday with a lot of clouds and some fog. So east wind throughout the day today. As we go into Saturday, notice the winds begin to shift more out of the south, southwest. That will help warm things. But today, 44 Bethany, 48 Long Neck. Areas that could see the lower to mid 50s would be the mid-shore down through Crisfield. So we start Saturday with clouds, a little slow to erode, but I think we will see some sun break out by the afternoon. Temperatures rebound back into the upper 60s to lower 70s, and then we'll see a chance of showers Sunday morning as a weak front pushes through, but then we should rebound nicely by the afternoon. Lower 70s, 71 by Sunday, upper 60s into Saturday, but it will be cooler at the beaches. Don't forget, you go to bed Saturday night to set those clocks ahead an hour. Make sure you check those batteries and the smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide detectors. Well, that's something we want to see. Sunsets after 7 o'clock. We warm up very nicely into early next week with temperatures in the low to mid 70s, mid to upper 70s by Wednesday.
Thank you, Chris. Delaware is rolling out a new digital tool. The goal here is to help providers coordinate behavioral health care more efficiently. According to the state, this secure system gives instant access to a patient's recent treatment history, and that's everything from hospital visits to counseling and crisis care.
For a provider that has a responsibility to coordinate care, that information being just right in the computer, you open it up and you can look up your client and see where they are. It saves so much time and it will save lives.
And state officials say the platform first launched internally last summer before expanding to contracted providers across Delaware.
And coming up next on Coast TV News Today, Delaware pride and a little St. Patrick's spirit. That's this weekend on Delmarva. All that and more. Stay with us for cool things to do. Maryland workers could soon see bigger paychecks. That's always good news. The state's minimum wage currently sits at $15 an hour, but new proposals in Annapolis could bump up minimum wage to $18 or even $25. The, quote, Living Wage for All Act would raise hourly pay every year until 2030 and a 67% increase in just a few years. Supporters argue that it would help workers keep up with rising prices, but business advocacy groups say that kind of jump could mean fewer jobs and higher costs.
These employees that could be making $25 an hour, they're either going to have less hours or they're going to have to find a new job because these employers are not going to be able to keep on all of the employees because of these added costs.
Supporters say that raising wages can reduce turnover and boost spending, but opponents argue that employers on the lower shore may respond by cutting hours, trimming staff, or raising prices as the legislation moves forward.
Hope this Friday morning is treating you well, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Ocean City. Not dealing with as dense of fog as we had yesterday. 42 right now in Ocean City, and a lot of clouds today with an east wind anywhere between about the mid to upper 40s along the beaches from Ocean City to Fenwick Island. Lewis, we're socked in the clouds with a persistent onshore flow, so a very damp day. Not expecting a whole lot of rain, just a whole lot of cloud cover. As we make our way to Cambridge and Crisfield, this is the area that could see some breaks in those clouds, and it'll be the mildest part of the peninsula with temperatures getting into the mid-50s by the afternoon. Congratulations, Peggy Shockley, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, for winning an umbrella from Coast TV. Your latest weekend forecast that shows improvements and a big warm-up into early next week.
New this morning, the clocks spring forward on Sunday, and that means we lose an hour this weekend.
So you may want to take the most of the time that you've got. Here's Garcia de Robertis with a look at your cool things to do.
The Milton St. Patty's Day Parade kicks off downtown at 2 p.m. on Sunday, and before that, there's a 5K race that's at 11 a.m. starting at Irish Ice. On Saturday, 302 Horseshoe Crab and Dogfish Head celebrate 302 Day from 11 to 4. That includes food trucks, live music, raffles, and giveaways, plus the release of a special 302 lager beer.
We're hoping that this day continues to be known as like a true start of the warmer, busier season in coastal Delaware. We're really proud that Delaware State Parks is our beneficiary for the event. They're going to be auctioning off a couple of black tag, highly coveted license plates at the event.
The Lewis Public Library is hosting historian David J. Silverman for an America 250 author talk exploring Native American history and race in the United States. That's on Sunday from 5 to 6. Or if wellness is on your weekend list, the Delaware Resorts Health, Fitness, and Leisure Expo takes place Saturday at Cape Henlopen High School from 9 to 3. And in Ocean City, the 10th annual OC Film Festival continues all weekend. Screenings will be held at multiple venues across town, plus special events and opening and closing parties. For more details, you can visit CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Now on Coast TV News.
Biker badly injured. What we're learning from investigators about this serious crash in Rehoboth Beach.
Day of Giving nearing end. Some of the donation totals that are being made available in the effort to help Delaware nonprofits.
Angler accountability, the penalty in a Maryland bill that targets people fishing without a license.
Well, you guessed it. It's another morning we're tracking fog on the peninsula, especially at the coast. So use some caution out there this morning. It's not as dense and widespread as yesterday, but it's a gloomy Friday. But there's a nice warm up that everyone's going to like heading into the weekend.
This is Coast TV News Today.
March 6, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, we got another foggy start to our morning. It is having an effect on our roads, so we're going to check out some video that we got from Seaford just a couple of moments ago, if we can get to that. There we go. You see the fog there. This is Route 13 and Route 20. A little haze in that sky there.
And we're going to move along. This is a look outside into Ocean City, one of our beach communities. You can see the haze kind of gathering around those street lamps, and it looks like a nice enough view with the ocean waves coming in. Those nice temperatures that Chris is saying we're going to get this weekend. Might be a nice weekend for the beach.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Now, we already saw western Sussex County. Let's get a live look at the eastern part. We have our Tyler Ridson. He's at the wheel of the First Alert Weather Jeep. He's currently on Coastal Highway making his way down there, and things are looking pretty good this morning in that part of Sussex County.
That's right, Matt. And for any information about school delays happening today, maybe 2-hour delays due to the fog, you can head to the article on our website, coasttv.com.
5:33 a.m. The length of the delays vary just depending on the district. So stay with us for information on that.
And we are celebrating in the studio today because it is a very special Friday. Today is actually something that I hold near and dear to my heart.
I know you do.
It is National Spray Tan Day.
You are an expert.
Which is ginormous. I think that I need to celebrate and maybe get 7 in a row. Just because I also
7 in a row.
And then I thought, well, why not I be kind and extend the invitation to my favorite co-anchor, Matt Pensick. Would you want to get a spray tan?
No, maybe. Is it free?
company card. We'll put it on that. You're going to come back on Monday, and it's going to look like you went to the Bahamas or something nice. Well, let's turn now to First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobuoni, because it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get a natural tan. Not much sun this morning, Chris.
Yeah. Maybe I should binge watch Jersey Shore when I get home today. We are not going to see much of the natural sun today. It'll be out, but it's going to be above a lot of cloud cover that we're going to be seeing today across the area. Now, the fog primarily across most of Sussex County. We're seeing visibility up to about 1.25 miles there in Georgetown, but for the most part, not as widespread as what we were dealing with yesterday morning. Right now in Milford, 41, you can see the wet streets there. We had a little showers overnight. 42 Milton, we're at 44 Gumboro. Now we're beginning to see those winds. We had more of a west wind overnight. Now we're beginning to see more of a northeast wind kick in, and that's that onshore flow. We had a pretty good batch of rain that pushed through Baltimore, Philadelphia, South Jersey overnight. We were kind of on the southern flank of that, and we really didn't see much in the way of heavy rain, just a few showers overnight. And now we're just seeing some spotty drizzle across the area as this backdoor cold front is now sunk southward through the peninsula. Now, temperatures are going to really struggle to get out of the 40s for most of us today with those cloudy skies and some spotty drizzle. If anyone touches the mid-50s today, it's going to be the eastern shore and from Salisbury on southward. We will talk about some improving conditions over the weekend coming up in that full 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this half hour, Do More 24 is underway, and you still have plenty of time to donate.
Yes, you do, and our Elisa Weber is in our newsroom, and this year Do More 24 is looking to top the amount of money that was raised in 2025. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Everyone has until this evening at 6 o'clock to donate to Do More 24, and according to the Do More 24 website, over $670,000 has already been raised. In order to find organizations that are participating, you can check out the Do More 24 website. Do More 24 Delaware offers thousands of dollars in unrestricted funding and other cash and non-cash incentives to provide a little excitement, start some friendly competition, and help donors make their dollars go further. We spoke with Spur Impact, a leadership and community engagement nonprofit, who says last year Do More 24 raised a total of $2.5 million. And this year, the event hopes to raise even more.
The reason to donate during this specific day in Do More 24 Delaware, your dollars will go further because there are sponsorships and prizes that match your dollars that are donated. If every person in Delaware donated just $5, then we would surpass our goal.
And again, everyone has until this evening at 6 o'clock to donate to Do More 24. You can also check out the website and see the leaderboards to see which nonprofits are raising the most money so far and how much total is at right now. Back to you.
Okay, Elisa, and let's take a look at the leaderboards in the small, nonprofit category. So SoDel, that's Southern Delaware Orchestra, has just over $17,000. The Shepherd's Office in Georgetown has raised over $13,000 so far, and the Milton Theater, they are just in at over $3,000.
New this morning, Lewis officials are set to tackle parking issues downtown. The parking working group will meet later this morning, and one thing that the city is researching is a residential parking permit program, looking at other areas with similar downtowns like Rehoboth Beach and Bethany Beach to see how their systems work. It is important to note that the working group will focus only on parking downtown, and officials will gather in just a few hours from now at 9 a.m.
An 18-year-old from Rehoboth Beach was hospitalized with critical injuries after this motorcycle crash on Bay Vista Road. According to Delaware State Police, this happened around 3:15 Thursday afternoon. The motorcycle was going at a high rate of speed and flipped over after a sharp turn, and you can see the motorcycle ended up underneath a Chevy truck. Troopers say Bay Vista Road was closed for about 2 hours during their response and also the cleanup.
We are giving you a live look into Cambridge now. This is near the banks of the Choptank River, and we are nearing the time of year that the blue crab industry ramps up. Later today in Annapolis, a bill that lays out consequences for fishing under certain circumstances without a license, and it's getting a hearing at the General Assembly. House Bill 1304 was brought up last month, and it requires the Department of Natural Resources to suspend the commercial or recreational fishing privileges of certain people charged with not having a license. The hearing is taking place in the House Environment and Transportation Committee.
And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. Cabinet changes are taking place in the Trump administration. Kristi Noem will no longer head the Department of Homeland Security. And new overnight, President Trump announcing that Noem is stepping down and Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma will receive the nomination to replace her. According to a social media post from the president, Noem will be moving into a new role as the special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. That's a new security initiative the president says was getting announced later. Noem has been under fire since the deadly shootings of 2 U.S. citizens by federal agents during immigration operations in Minneapolis.
There's an opportunity to build off successes, and there's also opportunities to build off things that maybe didn't go quite as planned.
And Mullin will step in as secretary effective March 31st. This comes as the House passed an appropriations bill on Thursday to fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of the fiscal year.
The national battle over redistricting is taking center stage in Virginia. This morning at 8:30, Virginians will have the first chance to vote on Democratic-led redistricting. Currently, Democrats hold 6 of Virginia's 11 U.S. House seats, but the proposed map redraws districts in a way that could ultimately give them a 10-to-1 advantage. The referendum, if passed, would empower the General Assembly to redraw districts ahead of November midterms. While early voting takes place today, the referendum is set for April 21st.
Single-lane traffic coming to Tidal Health in Salisbury. The health organization says starting March 16th, part of West Vine Street will be reduced to 1 lane. That's the area located between Waverly Drive and Patterson Road, and officials say the change is related to construction for its emergency department expansion project. And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, science fair for Delaware students. A special guest expected to be at the event today in Georgetown.
And Cape Cruises, we have the 4th quarter surge that propels the Vikings boys basketball team to the next round in the Delaware State Tournament. CoastTV News Today is back after this.
Good Friday morning, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Salisbury this morning. Fog, not a big issue there. We're at 44 degrees, and boy, that fog rolled in again last night, and right now more patchy fog, seeing it develop across Wallops Island and then in and across portions of Sussex County. Not all that widespread. We had a round of showers overnight, but we're doing pretty well as far as any precipitation is concerned. 46 right now, Cambridge. We're at 43, Georgetown 41 in Ocean City. Well, an east to northeast wind today, so you know what that means. A lot of cloud cover across the coast from Lewis to Rehoboth, and we're going to struggle to get out of the 40s there. A little milder further inland into the lower to mid 50s across the mid shore, but we are tracking some milder and even warmer temperatures in that 7-day forecast, and you can always call our Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. I'll have your 7-day up here in a few minutes.
New this morning, a focus on protecting drinking water is coming to the Delaware beaches next month. The 2026 Drinking Water Partnership Summit takes place April 21st in Dewey Beach. It's hosted by the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund program, along with the Office of Engineering and the Office of Drinking Water. Organizers say the summit will feature expert presentations, networking opportunities, and interactive breakout sessions.
Happening today, a change for young scientists to showcase their research. The Sussex County Science Fair taking place at 8 a.m. at Delaware Tech in Georgetown, and organizers say that their activity highlights independent research projects. Students will start by explaining their research to judges and then participate in an award ceremony. Special guests include the Delaware Secretary of Education, Cindy Martin, and Senator Brian Pettyjohn, who will deliver the keynote speech.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, Delmarva. If you like parties, you're in for a treat. It was a dunk party in Cape Henlopen on Thursday night. Let's get into the second round playoff action. Kicking it off with Jordan Downing knocking down a deep three to give Cape an early lead in the first quarter, but AI DuPont would answer. Tyre Herring, that's a three to tie it at 3 in the first. Back and forth we go, but Steven Civils is going to dump it off to Braxton Figgs. This time he's going to lay it in. A little foreshadowing there. Here's the play of the game, though. Osmir backs into Jamison Tingle. The lob and the jam, 11-5 after this in the first quarter, but Jaleel Conrad knocks down the three. We're all tied. The Tigers are hanging around. It's 24 apiece, but then Civils, the spin, bats it inside. The finish gets it to go. Cape back up by 2 in the second quarter. Then Amir Robertson, that's a deep three to kick things off in the second half. We're tied at 31 in the third quarter, but then it got crazy. Jamison Tingle, that's a tough floater, 35-33. And then Civils gonna put it up, and the putback slam from Batson. And it's a 6-point lead for Cape. And then Downing up ahead, and Finks throws it down. Now the dunk party's in full swing. 9-point lead for the Vikings. Then Tingle on the break. Who's stopping that? 48-37 in the third quarter. Cape starting to pull away. And then how about this? That's just an impossible shot from Jordan Downing, knocking down the three at the end of the third. The Vikings would cruise when it's 73-55 to advance in the state playoffs. Delaware boys basketball is heating up, folks. It's getting fun out there. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 7, the Delaware Bluecoats host the Westchester Knicks. That's in NBA G League basketball. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign-up to get a weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday, or you can just look at Chris for a weekly dose of joy.
Well, thank you, Grace. I wish I had more sunshine to report for this Friday, but we are tracking a lot of cloud cover today thanks to an east wind. In fact, we're going to struggle to get out of the 40s today for most of the coast. We will talk about temperatures rebounding back to the 70s in that 7-day forecast.
And the time is now 5:49 a.m. as we're taking a live look outside. And Chris, we just want to make a note that Indian River School District will be operating under their normal hours today. The district had initially told us they would be under a 2-hour delay. Again, Indian River School District will be operating under their normal school hours. Chris, we're looking at a foggy morning today and not much sun.
Yeah, we're going to be socked in the cloud cover once again. The clouds are going to be outweighing the sunshine across the peninsula throughout our Friday. And the fog, not all that dense like we were tracking yesterday morning, but it's more patchy fog across the area this morning. We're at 44 in Salisbury. The fog this morning has been primarily confined to Sussex County, southern portions of Dorchester County down through Wallops Island. And we still do have a dense marine fog advisory for the Delaware coast that runs through 10 this morning. And then from Ocean City down through Assateague and Chickateague, that runs through 7 o'clock this morning. We're at 42 in Milton, 43 Millsboro, 42 Longneck, and we're at 41 in Ocean City. We're seeing wind flow out of the northeast anywhere between about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We actually had a rumble of thunder west of Baltimore overnight, and that cluster of showers passed to our north. We had just a few overnight areas of drizzle, primarily across Kent, Sussex County, and points northward. Can't rule out some drizzle this afternoon, but for the most part, we stay rain-free. It's this pesky backdoor cold front that pushed through, and that's why we're going to be stuck in the 40s at the coast, 50s along the midshore, but we do rebound back to the 60s and 70s over the weekend. Maybe a few breaks in those clouds if we're lucky across the midshore, southwestern portions of the county, but for the most part, we're socked in the clouds with that persistent onshore flow through the afternoon. And it's a foggy, cloudy start to our Saturday, and then we'll rebound by the afternoon. So there's that wind flow out of the northeast throughout the day today and into the overnight. Then as we go into Saturday, we'll begin to see those winds shift more out of the south-southwest. So highs today ranging anywhere from 48 Milford to 44 Bethany Beach, 48 in Salisbury. We could see some 50s, lower to mid-50s across the midshore down through Crisfield. As we start our Saturday with clouds, by the afternoon those clouds begin to break, and then we'll see some late clearing before a cold front pushes through. Late shower chance overnight Saturday into early Sunday morning, and then by the afternoon we are looking drier. Don't forget, yes, we lose an hour of sleep as we go into Sunday morning. Set those clocks ahead an hour. Make sure you check those smoke alarms as well as those carbon monoxide detectors. And this is good news that everybody wants to see. Sunsets after 7 o'clock beginning on Sunday night. So as we go into next week, Big Ridge sets up in the east and we really warm up. Temperatures are going to be in the 70s to near 80 degrees into early next week. And then we'll see another cold front push through late Wednesday into Thursday, dropping us back into the 50s by Thursday.
Loving that look of 70s. Chris, exciting. Looking across Delmarva, the University of Maryland Shore Regional Medical Center on Washington Street will be relocating. Officials say the 14-acre property where the current hospital is located is set to be sold. Easton town leaders say no decision has been made yet, and it'll likely stay that way for a while.
We are aware of the importance of, particularly, the opportunity to redevelop a site of that size in such close proximity to our downtown. We don't see that every day, and most communities don't see anything like that.
The hospital relocation and the sale of the current property not expected to happen until 2028. And the time's now 5:53 a.m. Matt Pensick, we're checking in with our coastal and adoptable pet of the day.
Yeah, we do this every Friday. We get our pets on the Brandywine Valley SPCA. So on your screen right now is Damien, and Damien is a sweet and loving soul who will melt your heart. His cute and unique folded ears. Look at that. They're just irresistible there.
Irresistible,
yes,
get it?
Yeah. All right. If you want to adopt Damien or any other lovable pet, head to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
What a handsome man. Well, we want to see more of your photos of your pets on Delmarva, especially if you adopt our unique friend Damien here. You can send us the photos. Tell us what makes your pet so special if you take a look at your screen now.
Yeah, scan that QR code top center to get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
New this morning, one person from Delmarva is getting a feel for the national stage.
Heidi Schmeckel of Salisbury will compete on Jeopardy tonight.
And you can see a picture of her right here at the game show. She is standing next to the host, Ken Jennings.
That is great. All the information you need to watch and support is right here on your screen. Jeopardy airs on CoastTV at 7:30 p.m. And we are bringing back First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Not the bright start I was looking for to our weekend, Chris.
No, I wish I had better news for you. But yeah, we're going to struggle to get out of the 40s and 50s for all of Delmarva today, especially at the coast. Just a raw day with that east wind, anywhere between about, say, 15 to 20 miles an hour. Lower to mid 50s the further inland you go, and then across portions of the mid-shore. By tomorrow, we rebound after some morning fog. By the afternoon, early evening, we get up to around 70 degrees. Could see a late shower into early Sunday morning, 71, and then the warmth really builds in early next week before some cooler temperatures at the end of next week.
All right, thanks, Chris. And coming up on our next hour, downtown driver's dilemma. We are less than 2 months away from the paid parking season in Lewis, and how that city is attempting to address the ongoing issue of limited spots. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News today.